Okay, now we're rolling. So apparently the guys are sounding off over there on the sidelines. Who's first, second, and third? Okay. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. All right. So, for whatever reason, the comments are not coming in over on the SteamYard side yet, but we'll see how that works. So, anyway, let's see how many of them we got. Yeah, got 9, 10 folks watching. All right. All righty. So, like I said in the title, it's an impromptu chatter title on when I shared it on Facebook. Just kind of going over and talking about holsters, and some other stuff too. Whatever works. So for I'm way behind on uploading videos. I finally decided that family was more important than YouTube, which is a decision I probably should have made years ago. But anyway, yeah, I've been spending a lot of time with Dad doing a lot of bird hunting. We hunted turkeys back in October. Now we're started hunting ducks this morning, but then we got blizzarded out. So, and we didn't have any birds flying over us. In fact, duck-wise, there wasn't much birds at all. There was a lot of geese, and there was a lot of other birds that you weren't supposed to shoot. But didn't really see any ducks fly over us. We see them fly around us quite a bit. Didn't really fly over us. And rolling in the last couple decoys, and I look up, and here comes 2 ducks, low balling, and my dad had already taken both of our shotguns back to the vehicle. So our opportunity at some birds, the only 2 birds we would have had a chance to shoot all day, kind of went out the window. But it was fun. Enjoyed it. Just wish that the weather would have held out and we could have actually brought something home besides cold feet. Let's see here. What is that? But anyway, that's what I've been up to. I'm hoping one of these days here I'll get started back doing YouTube videos. I got a bunch of stuff I filmed way back in June, but screwed up and I didn't get the microphone plugged into the right spot, so the sound's not that great. Yeah, that was a rookie mistake right there, but it's usable footage. I just got to mess with it. And then I up and lost my target camera. And I mean, I freaking lost it. And if you saw my house, it's a wreck. You can understand how I could lose something like that. But yeah, I lost the target camera. So the videos I've wanted to do, I can't do because I don't have a camera to film it with. So that's kind of put video production on the back burner and that, and just haven't really been motivated to get out in front of the camera here lately. But I'm hoping here that's going to change. Dad and I were going to hunt ducks here for a couple weeks, and then I'm hoping I'll get out and do some video stuff before I head up to the Dakotas this year, because I'm going to be heading up there a little bit earlier. I got to test the Kaido bullets. I see Dustin Weiniger tested them. He had a video on the Kaido bullets on his channel this morning. So obviously I'm getting behind. Dustin's catching up to me. Oh. So looks like we got Squibload, we got George Gooding, we got Jeremy Gunslinger, who's our moderator. Thanks for showing up, Jeremy. We've got Randy Wilson, Ray Land, Drew Tatum. Everybody, hello. Jeremy, I want to extend my condolences to you for the loss of your father. I've seen that on Facebook, and I hadn't commented on it yet, but just let you know I'm thinking of you. Zombie Killer is here. So looks like we got a fairly full house. So what I'm working on right now, and the reason I'm working on this and not on actual holsters that I'm making money on, is because I need to make some Bohannon holsters that I've promised some people. And I noticed about the time I got ready to start this chat that I did not have my Bohannon pattern here. It's at my other workshop, which is at my uncle's house. So I'm working on something a little different here tonight. So the thing I'm working on right now is doing spots. I want to start playing around with doing spots a little bit. So, and this really, the camera does not do this justice. And it's not a good justice either. But there's 2 rows there, and oh crap, which one was which? Okay, so this row was done with a knife, this top row. The bottom row was done with my stitching awl, and I'll just poke an extra hole there so you can see what I'm talking about. See if you can see the difference between the two. So top holes are knives, bottom holes are diamond stitching tools. And on the camera there, they look fairly decent, but to my eye, like especially when you put it on the curve of a holster, them holes really start to show up. And I don't know what you can do about it other than not put it on a place that gets a lot of curve, but I've never really done much of spots. I ordered, like 500. How many's in a bag? Something like 100 in a bag. I ordered 500 brass and 500 stainless steel. Or no, I ordered 300 stainless steel and 500 brass. And they've been sitting on my shelf and I haven't done anything with them. So I thought I was going to finally use them because I don't have any holsters for myself because I sell them all. Most of them anyway. So I was wanting something a little bit fancier for my El Cheapo Uberti Cattleman 4440. So I was going to take and run spots along the border of this holster. It's also going to be tooled when I get a little bit more practice on my tooling. My tooling isn't the greatest yet. Then I was going to run some spots around the border here, maybe run a few across the straps. Excuse me. I'm getting over the crap. This is the reason why I didn't start holsters last week when I intended to on like Thursday, Friday. I have been sick since the Saturday before the second last Saturday I had at work. So it would have been a little over a week ago. I started getting sick on the 20th. And I was out. I started getting sick on the 19th. And I was out till the 21st. I mean, I was in bed. I couldn't hardly get up. And 22nd, I was finally able to get up, but I didn't have a voice. And from the 23rd till the day, all I've done is snort and cough up green goobers. And I know that's not something you probably really wanted to hear, but it's like this thing is just lingering. It will not leave. And usually I'm not one that gets sick real easy or a lot. I was the first one in the family to get this crap. I don't know what the hell it is. All I know is it knocked me on my butt. And I'm still stopped up. And the way my nose is, my nostrils here are really tight. I can't blow things out. I suck them down real easy, but I can't blow them out. So if the snorting bothers you, I apologize, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Drew Tatum, do you make rifle scabbards? I know you make holsters for revolvers and such. I don't make scabbards basically because I don't have the size of leather required to make a scabbard. I usually use double shoulders, which are just barely big enough to make a belt for a guy my size. And my size keeps getting larger, so that's getting harder and harder to do. But no, I would love to do it. My dad's been getting after me. My dad wants one really bad. He wants a rifle scabbard, but I just right now I'm not making enough off of them to justify buying like a half side. I just buy the double shoulders at a pop. So it's something that yes, I'd like to do, but I don't currently offer it. But I'll keep you in mind. What kind of rifle are you looking at getting a scabbard for? Plowboy's Ghost, more whiskey, less sickness. Yeah, except me and whiskey just don't get along anymore. Me and beer don't even get along anymore. Me and wine get along real good, but an average Joe Hunter says, howdy. the average Joe. So, crap. But anyway, so yeah, Dad and I went duck hunting this morning. We hunted for about an hour. We was going to try to get out and sit up before daylight, and we got halfway there and realized that we'd left our duck hunting stamps, our federal stamps. We bought them, brought them home, stuck them up in the mirror at Grandma's house. That's where they were sitting this morning when we came back to get them. So we had to turn around, come back and get that. And then I realized that Dad's Jeep he's got road tires on it instead of the all-terrainers. So we had to swap vehicles because I like to get down close to where I don't have to walk so far or carry all the decoys. But I don't know, it was cold, it was nasty. And the ducks everything that was, all the waterfowl, I should say, were way out in the deep water. So I don't know if it's because it was so cold they went out to the deeper water where it was a little warmer or what, but didn't turn out. We didn't get anything except sniffles. For bolt action with iron sights. Okay. Yeah, that's something that I'd have to have the gun handy to know what I was even getting into. So, but yeah, right now I don't do anything for the large guns, just handguns. Thomas Pickering, Canada, checking in. Hello, all. Hang in there. You'll get better soon. I'm hoping I get better. I really am hoping. I feel pretty good in the morning, but when it starts getting the evening, I really start getting tired and everything starts clogging up. Of course, it ain't been real warm here today either, so being out in that cold didn't help. It's like we've got the most snow in this October than we've had in probably 12 years. Not looking good. Last time that happened, we had 3 feet of snow overnight in December. I'm hoping that I'm out of here before that happens. We'll see. So anyway, for those of you that are here or will be watching later on, I've still got some holsters I really like to get moving here. And these are just some holsters that have been sitting around. I made them. They weren't made for an order. I just made them for something to do. And one of which one of the group is pending sale, I should say. But the one I've got right up first off the bat, I think I've showed this a couple times before. This is for a 7.5-inch barreled single action army or clone, and it will also fit the Remington copies, the Remington 75. So that's the U-Birdie Outlaw copies. It will fit them as well. It will fit the 1860 Army. It will fit the Richards Mason conversion. It will fit your cap and ball revolvers, a little bit loose, but they will fit. Just to show you, I've got an 1860 here. They stick out a little further. That's just because the whole overall length is a little bit longer, but they still fit. That's a fairly nice fit there. This one, priced at $60. So this one will be $60 before shipping. Usually I go $75 on these triple loops, but $60 before shipping. So with shipping, $15 shipping, be right back at $75. So yeah, $75 including shipping. We'll put it that way. This one will be yours. This is a jet black one, and it is stamped. I don't know how well you can see it there, but it's got my maker's mark on it. Jet black don't show up very well on the camera. And then, oh boy, do I have the Slim Jims. One of these Slim Jims is spoken for, and I don't have it on the table, so we don't have to worry about it. I've got, first off the bat on the Slim Jims, this one here. This is an open toe. So this one fits the 1860 Army. I left this one open so that I could get one for an 1860 Army because I made the pattern for a 51 Navy. Didn't think about the 60 Army. So this one for the 60 Army, let's see, I was gonna 45 plus shipping, so $60 on this one. 60 is usually what I asked for from the get-go. asking for $45 plus the shipping cost. And that's going to be true on all these Slim Jims coming up here. Randy Wilson asks, got any in brown? You mean this one? I don't have any in stock, but I can sure make one if you want to order it. And just for grins, if you want to order it right now, I'll even give you that same price. Let's see. Next up the bat, these are a couple of, these would be for 51 Navies because they are plugged. And these are prototypes that I was playing around with doing toe plugs. So some of them are pretty, some of them are ugly as sin. And some of them are kind of really tight fitting too. So first one up, and these are all going to be the same price, $45 plus $15 shipping. It's got a really round toe plug in it. I just wasn't satisfied with that style of toe plug. They all have this kind of belt loop style on them. This one is a right-hand cross draw, so it sits on the left side. You draw with your right hand, or if you're left-handed, you could do the Hickok style draw. Then there's its cousin, which is also the same thing. And both of these, I think, are what was called medium brown leather dye. I'm not going to mess around with Fibing's brown leather dyes anymore. Those things are a pain in the butt to get them to match up and come out looking nice. This is another one. This one, the toe plug turned out a little bit better on. The only thing is this is a left-hand cross draw, so it sits on the wrong side. So if you want to do a cavalry twist, you can easily do that. Randy Wilson, yeah, send me an email, DukeFrazierProductions@gmail.com, and I will write you down here so that I know to give you the sale price. So I don't charge you the full. Let's see. Randy Wilson. Triple loop for, I said $60. Okay. Because my memory is not the greatest at times. Let's see, where was I at? I was going through all these. I've got 2 more left, and I'd like to sell these as a pair because they are made as a pair. So these are a couple of 51 Navies again, same exact pattern, but these ones are matched up. So the toe plugs, as ugly as they look on the one, the other one doesn't look bad. The other one's kind of ugly, but these I'm going to let go for, I said 45 a piece. So I'll let them go for $90 plus the $15 shipping. So I want to sell them as a pair. And they are, right hand, they're the cross draw. They will fit the 61 Navy. That's what I've got in this one. This is the Uberti 1861 Navy. Keep in mind. The Pieta 1861 Navy, they got the barrel a little bit longer. I think it's the same size as the 60 Army barrel. So keep in mind, this will not work for the Pieta 61. The 51, these will work. It'll work for the Pieta 51s. And it'll work for all the Uberti Navies. Hey, Jeremy. We got a wing dinger. I'm going to get rid of him. All right. I haven't had one of those for a while. John P says, hi, Duke. Sorry to hear you say, yeah. Like I said, I'm getting over it, but it's just taking for freaking ever. Oh, but appreciate the thoughts. So yeah, that's the 51 Navy, the Slim Jim holsters. Got those. If you want to order any of them, order through email, DukeFrazierProductions@gmail.com. Yeah, we're getting hit pretty good here tonight, Jeremy. So anyway, yeah, we got I apologize for the troll peckerheads. Pardon my French. Jeremy, why the hell did you do that? Ha! Plowboy says I speak French. Yeah. God dang, this guy is putting a frickin' yeah, I know, Randy. I would love to strangle those little bastards, but oop, I went and broke my rule. I ain't supposed to curse on this channel. John P. will email you the address and the money. We're interested in that right-hand cross Slim Jim for the 51 Navy sent pictures. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Now I know you're. Oh, boy. It's been a long night. Sorry, John. God dang. Freaking trolls. What the hell? They are all over tonight. Okay. Which one of you all wants to help Jeremy and be a moderator? People are getting freaking ridiculous. Howdy, Austin Mitchell. Glad to have a fan from Arizona. You watch the Arizona Ghost Riders channel? They're a good one, too, out of Arizona. All right, Plowboy. Plowboy, you're going to be a moderator. An average Joe is going to be a moderator. And that's the two I'm going to add. So we got 3 moderators. We should be able to keep up. Hey, Kaido. Howdy. Hey, I was just talking earlier. I just seen Destin finally got your bullets tested. I'm still sitting on yours. I'm going to try to get out. Made a mistake and I lost my target camera. I don't ask me how. I lost it. Don't know where it's at, but I'm going to try to find it here, and then I'm hoping I'm only a year overdue, but I'm hoping I'll get your bullets tested here sometime before December. I'm just so busy. I don't have time to do anything. Hootie Hoo is here. Hi, Hootie Hoo. Landnut says, hey. Esmeralda Fitz Monsters joined in. All right. Oh, 6-shooter. How you doing, 6-shooter? All right. So those are the holsters that I've got made that I'm wanting to move. We've taken a look at them, so we should be good there. And then, of course, I got plenty of patterns. Currently, I'm working on fixing up one, and I wished I had the picture of this holster because this turned out to be one of the nicest holsters I've ever made. And I really hated to sell that holster after I made it for that guy. I did not want to turn that baby loose. It turned out so beautiful, but this is the pattern. It's a civilian half flap holster. So, this folds around and this comes over and goes through a loop and holds the gun down. The only problem it had is that I did not cut this back far enough to really wrap around the gun really effectively. So it needs to have a little bit more cut out. And that's what I'm working on now in front of me on the table. Is one of the things I was working on anyway was adjusting that pattern so that it would fit right. I got it. That's distracting me there. I'll fix that. All right. Austin Mitchell says, of course, he's a fan of the Ghost Riders. He lives in a historic mining town, eastern Arizona. Wants Santee to come down and do a video. That would be cool. I haven't really talked to Santee much here lately. After my last video freaking went online and I just slowed down, it's like I haven't talked to Santee much. I haven't talked to Dustin much. We still comment and stuff on each other's Facebook, but I haven't really hit him up much here lately. I said I've been so busy doing a lot of stuff for work, doing research for work, doing holsters. Made a guy wait almost 3 months for a pair of holsters. And I got one guy still waiting, and I apologize. I got another guy that's been waiting since March, but that's because I went off and forgot that I had the order. Let's see. Kaido says, Duke, photos of your holsters on your Facebook page. Yeah, I've got a few of the holsters, pictures of the holsters on my Facebook page. I don't have any of the ones that are on here. Me and Facebook had a little bit of a go around about me and my holsters. Because I had a picture of the gun in the holster to show you what models it would work with. And me and Facebook went around a little bit on that. And needless to say, I don't have very many pictures on there anymore. Of course, I was trying to sell them, and they get really pissy about that stuff. So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of pictures. If you do Instagram, I've got quite a few on Instagram, and I need to add a few more. I've been trying to use that as a venue, but I've heard some people say that's not such a good venue anymore either because they're pretty much run by Facebook. Yeah, I'll try to post pictures on the fan page, the Duke Frazier Productions page, Facebook page. I'll put some on my personal page for those of you that I'm personal friends with, and I'll try to get some uploaded on the Instagrams as well. Austin Mitchell says, really got hit hard by the black powder bug a year or two ago. Duke, your channel is a great resource. Can't wait to get a 51 Navy. Appreciate that. And yeah, the black powder bug is fun. And good choice on a 51 Navy. That is an awesome choice for your first gun. That and the 60 Army, but the 51 Navy is cheaper to shoot. And I got a video somewhere on black powder economics, and it probably is a little bit out of date, but shooting a 51 Navy, if you start making your own wads, your own grease, and your own bullets, and you're only buying powder and caps, I mean, you're shooting those things for cheaper than you can shoot some 22s, depending on the type of ammo you use for a 22. So you can shoot them pretty cheap. Excuse me. I think I figured it up. You can shoot them for like 4, 5, 6 cents a round. You're just buying the primer and the powder. You start making your own powder, and you could even get it lower, I bet. Used to be able to make your own caps, but I haven't seen too many of those cap makers out there anymore. Kaido, yeah, Facebook does suck. Instagram's getting really sucky. Yeah, Military Arms, he's a guy I follow on Facebook. Or not Facebook, on Instagram. I follow him on YouTube too. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. His Instagram got deleted. They put it back up, of course, but it's got deleted there for a while. But you got to take into consideration too, you know, the guy gets on a platform and bashes the platform and then wonders why they delete his account with said platform. But still not good. Randy Wilson, I love my 1860 Army, my 1860 Richards Mason Type 2. Yeah, I've got the Birdie copy of the Richards Mason. It's not the one that's got the loading lever hole still in it. It's looks more like a open top, a 72 open top. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's the one I antiqued, and because I bought a brand new barrel on it, but the rest of the gun was pretty worn. I wanted to try to make it match up and look better, and made them look like crap, so I wound up stripping everything down. Oh, shoot. So, if any of you folks out there are experienced leather workers that are watching, and if you got any tips for me on doing these spots, I would greatly appreciate them, because like I said, I'm going to show this here again. This is the ones I've been practicing on doing, and I don't know if that's supposed to, if you wind up with that big hole there, because what's going to happen is I'm going to run spots up along this edge, and you know, when they bend out, I don't want the holes to stand out too terrible bad, but if it's unavoidable, you know, I'll still do it. Like I said, I just want to make a really fancy holster for me, and then I have something to kind of show off. I got to start making more holsters that I keep that I can use to show off to people, because I never have one when everybody wants to look at one, and the ones I do have look like crap, and then that scares away business. Oh, speaking of holsters, I got left over. I got to run and find one. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Oh, crap, what I do with it? Oh, it was in here. It's in here. Yeah, there it is. There it is. And a little dusty. It's sitting under the window. Sitting under the window, so it's got a little bit of dust on it here. I've got this Walker holster. Yeah, you ain't gonna find any beer in my fridge. Anyway, this one is the second. The prototype I'm still got in my office. It's unfinished. This is the second one made, and it turned out very nice. Again, it uses this really flat belt loop, which I love the flat belt loop. Some people don't. I gotta admit, it is a pain. You have to take the gun out of the holster to get it on with this particular gun. The Navy holsters are not like that. This one is. I can make this too with a flap if you want to order one of these, just a regular flap belt loop, but I went with this style just because they're so much easier to sew on. And this one, like I said, it will fit the Walker. It will fit any of the big horse pistols. So the Walker fits very nice. The Dragoons fit nice. The Dragoons almost come right to the end. Now, I had some people on Instagram and Facebook complain about the open toe, and we don't like the barrel sticking out. Guess what? This is copied right out of a historical photograph. This was true to the original design. That was open. The barrel stuck out the bottom. So, and looking at my barrel, this obviously was a gun I fired on the 4th of July because I never cleaned it. Oops. Anyway, so this one's for the Walker. This is the only thing I had to take liberties on was the style of the flap, because the flap the guy has tucked around behind in his belt. So I don't know exactly how it attaches, but I did play around with the design a little bit, and this flap wraps around real nice, covers the whole grip and everything. And the belt loop, I took liberties with the belt loop because, again, belt loop's not something I could look at. But other than that, for just taking it out of a photograph, I think this is a fairly close copy. So if you want one of these, this one right here, I will let go for a little bit lower price. I was looking for about $90 on one of these. But This one bangs has got some issues, like some of the black dye rubbed off before I got it sealed, resined, and the fact that this strap is a little bit difficult. It's not real bad, but it's a little bit difficult to get in and out of there. I'm going to let this one go for $75 with shipping. So if you'd like to have one of these, $75 with shipping, so it would come right out to $90 again. Let me know. Otherwise, I might wind up just hanging on to that one for one of my little fancy ones. Kyle the Dalek, is it difficult to make holsters? Want to make one and was thinking of making one from old handbags and such as that. Well, it's not a dumb idea. It's just an old handbag. Unless you get some stiff leather, the holsters, you got to have a little bit stiffer leather for a holster. Otherwise, they just fall apart, or they just don't hold it right. I'm using 8 to 9 ounce, so that's how thick that leather is. And it allows you to bend it around, make shapes. If you need to make a tighter shape, you can wet it. I always use veg tan. The only thing I ever use is veg tan, because veg tan, unlike chrome tan, won't rust a gun so bad if it's humid. Chrome tan, that's a hide that's very soft. It's been tanned with chemical salts. It'll rust a gun faster than anything. But veg tan usually doesn't. And veg tan, if you want to do tooling, veg tan is the thing you want to use. Veg tan is just an awesome leather. And if you go to Tandy, usually you can get it fairly cheap. The only thing is cutting veg tan. You need a very good sharp knife and a pretty decent pattern. The hardest part of making holsters is making the patterns, getting them right. I go through a lot of paper, and I've had to throw away many holsters, more than I care to admit, from testing them out. Because it may look good on paper, may fit on paper, and then you cut it with leather, and then all of a sudden things don't work out very well. Let's see. Saboteur 45. Have you seen Geronimo's holster? I have not. I have to look at that. Squib load. I kind of like that Walker holster. It's for sale. Kaido, 1851 Navy 60 Airmers are fine revolvers. All Colt open top revolvers need higher front sight mounted on them in order to achieve pinpoint accuracy with his bullets. Yeah, and there's one gun I've got, and it's sitting right here on this table. One Captain Ball revolver I've got that shoots point of aim out of the box. And actually, this shoots a little bit low out of the box. And that's my 1861 Navy from Uberti, and I love this gun. I love it to death. That and my 51 Navy, although my 51 Navy is kind of getting to be a pain in the butt with internal parts. The barrel shoots real good. And veg tan works the best for holsters. Chrome tan, like you're talking about, doesn't play nice with gunmetal. No, it doesn't. There's lots of spots and conchos. Really looks nice. I've been saving it for materials. And then I thought I seen somebody saying something about lining a holster. Oh yeah, Landnet says, are you going to line the holster so the bent prongs of the spots don't scratch? Yeah, I'll wind up lining it. And I'll probably line it with, I've got a lot of deer tan skin left over. Or not deer tan, chrome tan buckskin. Because I don't want to waste my high dollar actual brain tan for that. But I've got a bunch of that chrome tan left over. I'm going to line it with that. I tried using like 3 to 4 ounce of stuff I use to make cartridge loops. I tried to use one of those one time to line a holster, and holy, it's just like using 13, 14, 15 ounce leather. It didn't bend worth a crap. I got those two pieces glued together and I went to go and it was like, so not going to do it that way, but I'm going to, yeah, I will line it. Yeah, Walker Kaido was talking about, the Walker revolvers needing strap help hold it up. I have walked around with a walker on my hip before. I've carried one, and it doesn't matter how tight you get that belt; it's going to find its way down past your butt. It doesn't matter how wide your butt is either; it'll find its way around it. Kyle the Dalek, do any companies make aftermarket Remington Arbor pins with grease grooves? Not that I know of. If you go watch Blackie Thomas, what's his name, or what's his channel name? Shaman's Forge or something like that. I can't. Or Black Oracle. Black Oracle is his YouTube channel name. He takes his and he takes a file and cuts some grooves in the arbor, but I just, one way you could get a Remington to last longer shooting it, and I've never had one last 40 rounds, but I also shoot wads. But the one time I got, up to about 60 rounds was with grease over the balls. Because when it fires, it blows that grease and it blows it everywhere. That's why I hate grease. It gets to every little bitty freaking nook and cranny. Yeah, it can be done. You can cut grooves in it, or grease over the balls, or throw the Remington away and get a Colt. Couple options. Land that. I lined some Avenger 1911 holsters with 2 to 3 ounce Herman Oak. I thought it worked fine. I don't know what I did wrong then, because I used 9 ounce leather on the outside, and then I used that 2 to 3 ounce. This was just cheap Tandy leather veg tan. But after I glued that, and I put a fairly hefty amount of glue, that might have been 90% of the problem there, but I tried to fold that around. I had to wet it. And then after I got it formed and looked inside, I mean that lighter weight leather on the inside was all wrinkled and looked like crap. And then I tried to wet form it, and it still looked like crap. But it's just a holster I used for my everyday carry to keep it in my pocket so nothing gets in the muzzle. So it's just a, for me, holster. So in fact, I don't even know where that holster is at. I haven't used it for a while. I've just been tucking it in my belt buckle or under my belt. I'll have to find it. But yeah, it's not, that holster's not something I take a lot of pride in showing off, because it looks like junk. All right. So while I'm waiting for some comments to come in, I'm going to go over and I'm going to look up Geronimo's holster. Okay. I see some copies of the holster. Oh. You know what? I've got the holster label. I bet that's in there if I just haven't found it. I haven't looked at it. Yeah, that is a fancy holster. Holy crap. That's a lot of silver. Jesus. There are some big spots too. All right, I'll get back to the chat here after I looked at that. Okay, Kyle, they kind of asked the question to a few different people. Well, why do you think Colt never kept and made more of the root style guns? I think it all falls down to the same failing that the Remington had, and that is you could not handle fouled out. Now, I've not handled an original root. I don't know for sure, but I know later in 1873, they took the cylinder and they put a bushing in there. So instead of having the cylinder rotating on one surface, it was actually rotating on two separate surfaces. And that, I mean, even on my copy, my 73 single action, where the hell's it at? My Cimarron. And you know what? I ain't going to be able to get that out of there because that's got a pin. I'll use this one. It's got the same thing. Now on this one, I made the mistake and shot black powder, never took the bushing out, so I never cleaned it. So this particular gun, the bushing will not come out of. I've tried to pound it out and it will not come out. But this little piece right here, this bushing is separate, should pop out. That allows it to turn on two surfaces. Also, it brings this surface up flusher to the frame so that your powder residue doesn't have a chance to get in on the cylinder pin. So that's my opinion. That's why the roots probably went out. Like I said, I've never handled a root, so I don't know if it has that bushing or not. I'm going to assume it doesn't. But I'm going to assume that's why they went out. And Colt experimented with closed frame revolvers long before. I mean, Kaido can even testify to this. Colt had I don't know if it was the first, second, or third model Dragoon that had a closed frame on it. It had a top strap on it, and it was hinged here so it'd break down, so you take the cylinder out to clean it and such. So he was looking at fixed frame guns, but he never went through on them. And I think it all falls to the same thing. As you see on this, with this particular style, when the black powder goes off in this gun, the powder goes out, it hits this top strap here and gets sent all down back through the frame. Doesn't escape. Same is true on Remington. With this style, the open top style, once that powder goes off, all that residue comes out. A Colt does not get as dirty as, an open top Colt does not get nearly as dirty as a Remington or a 73 single action that's firing black powder cartridges. That's because this closed frame just really holds that fouling in place. So that would be my guess is why the roots didn't catch on. That, and like the Pattersons, the roots were very complicated. They had a complicated system, and it just didn't sell all that well. But when Colt died, Root took over. The Root was the engineer at the time. He worked for Colt, He's the one that took out the patent on the Rit revolvers under Colt, that made by Colt. And when Colt died, Rit took over. And in 73, you see this gun come out. So did the Rit design really die? I don't think so. I think they just found the perfect meshing of the two, and they made the 73 single action Army. That's my idea. Take it for what you will. Kaito Jama, yes, it was a second model Dragoon that Colt patented in 48, and then that patent expired in 58. We all know what came afterwards. Yep. Oh, let's see. That says, I don't like suede linings. I think the suede collects grit. Yeah, that's true. But I don't make them to look fancy. I make them to function. So, but this one's going to be a fancy holster. Functional fancy. See, Kaito says in 1842, Colt made a double action 32 or 36 top strap revolver. See my video on Museum of Connecticut history. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, I vaguely remember seeing that prototype, but there are so many prototypes that Colt play. For every gun that Colt made, there's probably 100 prototypes to that model. Holy crap. I've seen some of them that went online on Rock Island Auction. There was a big collection of Colt prototypes. It's like he had third model Dragoons he was looking at putting a rack and pinion system on for the loading lever. Had a Root Dragoon revolver. I mean, huge freaking Root style revolver. Had different prototypes of the 1860 Army. Oh, man, there's so many different prototypes that he had. Yeah, Kaito, I remember seeing pictures of that Bowie knife loading lever. And then some of those Patterson ones had that little flip out bayonet on them. I mean, take this little gun and then put a freaking folding bayonet underneath there. I mean, holy crap. Colt was very inventive. I put a bayonet on my Smith & Wesson SD40 once. Kind of made it look like a Tonka toy. Yeah, I've seen the Colt revolving shotgun on that Forgotten Weapons channel. That was an interesting piece. What's funny is that Colt, he's known so well for handguns. First guns he made that were successful were rifles, carbines, and shotguns. The pistols didn't come out until after he made all the long guns from the factory. Yeah, Kaito, yeah, Ian did show that one. I forgot about that. Forgotten Weapons did have that particular prototype on there, and yeah, that thing was huge. I mean, holy crap. Thank God for the Bestman process. You get a 44 that you can actually handle. Oh, man. Well, it is getting close to 8 o'clock. Yeah, we'll run for a little bit longer here tonight. Oh, excuse me. So anyway, back on the topic of holsters that are for sale. If you do want to custom order a holster, all you have to do is email me, DukeFraserProductions@gmail.com. due to the fact I've had some people that have ordered holsters, I get them made, and then they kind of ghost me and don't pay for them. I do ask for a $20 down payment at the time of ordering. I don't make very many exceptions to that rule. The only exception to that is the pre-made stuff. You just pay them and they ship. But yeah, if you want to order a holster, email me again, DukeFrazierProductions@gmail.com. See what I've got in stock. If you need something custom made, we can try to work on it. And I try to focus just on handgun stuff. I was talking with a guy about, earlier on here, y'all were here for that. I don't do the long gun rifle scabbards. Someday maybe I will. But for the most part right now, we just do the handgun. So if you got anything, I can do just about any style Colt, except for double action stuff. Basically, if I've got a gun or a copy of a gun, I can make a holster for it. So if you want a custom order one, let me know and we'll see what we can work out. Kyle says, is there any modern cap and ball revolvers that can handle smokeless? The answer to that is no. Yeah, that is stick smokeless in there. Now there was a guy, I shouldn't be telling you this. There was a guy on YouTube that was testing Trail Boss, using Trail Boss like he's using black powder, and he didn't blow the cylinder. I'm not surprised, but just because you don't blow it right away doesn't mean it won't blow later down the line, because you can exceed the pressure that metal can withstand and not destroy it. What happens is, on the microscopic scale, is you start getting tiny little cracks. And the more you keep adding that same amount of pressure, those cracks just keep growing and growing and growing. And eventually they'll crack to the point that, then you get catastrophic failure. So is it worth it? No, don't play around. Just use black powder. And if you want to use smokeless, buy yourself a cartridge gun. It's not to say you can't use the cartridge conversions. Those are fairly safe, but you got to remember that even though the cylinder of that cartridge conversion might be able to handle, full pressure loads, the barrel, the rest of the gun is not designed that way. So just, don't use smokeless. And if you're going to use a cartridge conversion, use smokeless in your cartridge conversion. Make sure that that's a load that does not exceed the same pressure that black powder load would exceed. Basically, just don't screw with it. Randy Wilson says, how did you learn to make holsters? I started watching a video on the Hank Strange channel where he was with a guy, Andrew's Custom Leather. And Sam Andrews was in there, showed how to make a holster. It looked real easy, so I got started in doing it. I ordered a couple kits online because I wanted some holsters for my pocket models and my holsters for my walker. And I ordered those kits, put them together. They looked decent. And then I started looking. I was like, well, I could start making my own. So I ordered some leather. I ordered some paper to make some, or I bought some paper to make patterns. And I started making a few of them, and I thought, I might sell some of these. So after I put a few together, I posted online. I think it was on here that I was going to sell. I had a couple patterns and had people buy some. I come up with that Bohannon. I wanted a Bohannon holster, so I started making them, and I've been doing it ever since. And I'm no master. I'm by no means a master. I just pretty good at making it look nice, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's how I got started. I just watched a YouTube video and decided I wanted to try it, and here I am. Kyle says, what do you think of the Cimarron man with no name, 1851 Navy? Plowboy, you still there? Plowboy has one of those. I've never handled one, so I couldn't tell you. But I know Plowboy's had one or still has one. I'm not sure if he still has or not, but I know he's had one. You can go over to his channel and check that out. We'll see if he answers. But yeah, Plowboy's did a pretty good review on it. Anything that comes out of Cimarron usually is pretty good. I say usually. Their double barrel shotgun, I've not been super pleased with, especially for the price I paid. But, it still works sometimes. You just can't put real hot loads for it. I bought it kind of as an idea of having a home defense gun. And, yeah, that thing, being it won't kick out certain shotgun shell types. The only thing it really seems to like is Winchester AA. And that's the only Winchester it likes is Winchester AA. It likes the Remington and Federal cheapo hunting rounds you can get at Walmart. So for like bird hunting or skeet, you can use them for skeet too. But yeah, it runs anything from a Remington. It runs just about anything from Federal. It will not run Fiocchi buckshot. It will not run Cellar Malloy buckshot. But yeah, it will not run. And I'm gonna try some other stuff. I want to try some Kent shotgun shells. Try some other common shotgun loads through it. But I'm gonna see if I can polish the chambers, because what happens is the extractors do not set flush with the internal part of the barrel. They are not anywhere near close to fitting like they should be fitting. So I'm going to see if I can polish them up a little bit. What's happening is that when that fires, those types of ammo that don't work, the metal there at the head of the shell expands out enough that it catches up and hangs up. And I mean, once you get it broke open, a lot of times that stuff just falls right out. It's the getting it broke open process that is a pain in the butt for some. But yeah, I've not been real impressed. I mean, I like the shotgun. I do like it. And like I said, with the right ammo, you could have fun all day shooting at the range, blinking. But if you're going to use something for home defense, you're better off just buying a Mossberg 500. The Mossberg is the only shotgun I've ever owned that I have not had a problem with it not functioning. And even my Winchester 1300, I use it for hunting. I've had problems with it. In fact, today when I shoot, I shot at a couple ducks that were a little bit too far out. But anyway, when I tried to extract that last 3-inch shell, wouldn't extract, didn't want to come out. So Mossberg is the way to go if you want a home defense gun. Well, our average Joe Hunter asks my thoughts on Pieta versus U-Birdie. And I've got both, as you know, if you've watched my videos, you pretty well know. The Pieta gun, right out of the box, cap sucker. I almost sold it because that thing sucked cap so bad. Just suck caps off all the time. I finally broke down. I bought some slick shot nipples. Best decision I've ever made. That gun has not had a problem whatsoever since I put slick shots in it. And it's a good gun. It is a fine shooting gun. The only problem I found with that Pieta is that it tends to shoot really, 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 really high.
And I'm talking like that far. That's why I can never hit anything with it. It's because it shoots so freaking high. And with a 4.51 round ball, which is the only one that really fits that gun, 4.51 doesn't really shoot all that well. 4.54 shoots very well. 4.51 isn't always the greatest out of that. And then I've got my U-Birdie 1860. This one's cap jammed plenty of times too. Don't get me wrong, it's had its problems. The cap jamming has kind of slowed down since I polished the hammer. And this is one of the downsides to U-Birdies, is that their guns are made out of softer materials. You will never take a Pieta hammer and touch it with file and get any metal to move. File will skid across it all day long. This right here, this is the one nice thing about it is that you can polish this face because, like I said, file will cut this. It's softer material. The downside to that is that any little ding or bump, or if you dry fire it on a slick shot nipple, it will damage the hammer. But, you know, it's a trade-off. You can open the sights on it real easy. You can polish it up real nice to where it doesn't have a cap jam. But it is made out of softer materials, and looks like it's been a while since I cleaned that one too. Oops. Looks-wise, aesthetic-wise, you want to go U-Birdie. I mean, U-Birdie is a beautiful gun. And this one I have not yet stripped the grips off. A lot of my U-Birdies, I went and I stripped the bright red finish off of the grips and went with a natural. I mean, this one I just took stripped them down, and then I took and soaked this in a little bit of lard just to seal the wood up, and it is freaking beautiful. Just to go back with the, but I mean, you don't have to do that. These look fine, but yeah, these are more aesthetically pleasing than a Pieta. And one of the reasons for that is that they put all the modern Italian markings, like, you know, the black powder only, made in Italy. That's all underneath the loading lever. So you don't see that on the sides of the barrels. And if you get an actual U-Birdie, it's imported by U-Birdie, there's nothing on the top barrel. Now, if you get a Cimarron, usually it says Cimarron Arms, Fredericksburg, Texas, across the top, which, no big deal. But it's a little bit, it's what you call Farby. This gun, other than the required proof marks, is not a Farby gun. I mean, this you could use at a reenactment and wouldn't have as many people making fun of you. You can still go further and still get it further defarbed, but if I was going to spend the money, I'd buy the U-Birdie, to be honest with you. If you're just wanting something that you can go out and shoot at the range, you don't care about the aesthetics, buy the Pieta. Because Pieta will run all day and not give you too many problems, although I've had to do my fair share of work on a Pieta, and just like U-Birdies, they're not all that fun to work on sometimes, but U-Birdie, if you're gonna thinking about doing Civil War reenacting, living history stuff, or if you want just the historical accuracy for your own personal sake, I go with U-Birdie. And like I said, they're just prettier. But dollar for dollar, I mean, Pieta's just as good. Like I said, if you're gonna shoot, just shoot it. Nothing wrong with a Pieta. Let's see. So Plowboy said I'd trade you out of that Cimarron Double Duke. Yeah, if you live closer, I'd take you up on that too. I'd trade it for a Schofield. Excuse me. Okay, Hascat asks, what 36 caliber would you buy as a first-time gun? 51 Navy, or a 61 Navy. But if I was going to go with 61 Navy, I would go with U-Birdie one. instead of the Pieta. The Pieta one's got an 8-inch barrel, which isn't accurate historically. The U-Birdie's got a 7.5-inch, so it's the same size as the 51 Navy, just a different barrel. But either one of them work real nice. The 61 Navy, if you ever want to do like paper cartridges, the 61 Navy is a lot easier to get a paper cartridge in, so that might be a bonus. Plus, it's just prettier. It's a lot prettier. But either one. Oh, excuse me. Oh. I wouldn't go with a pocket Navy for a 36 for my first gun because they were just a little bit too overpriced for a 5-shot revolver. But yeah, the 51 Navy and 61 Navy work just good. The Pieta 51 Navy is real good. I had the black powder 44 version the brass frame 44 version was my first black powder gun, and still sitting around here somewhere. I've scrapped it out for parts. I've thought about putting it back together and just shooting it for old time's sake, but last time I shot it, it had a hell of a cylinder gap. It had a hell of a fireball that come out between the cylinder and the barrel, so I don't think it's really safe to shoot much anymore. Let's see. Yeah, Kyle, the man with no name conversion, that is a smokeless gun, but I still wouldn't get real wild with it. Don't put any real hot loads through it. Thule Cowboy. I bought a replacement cylinder for my Remington 1858, and the first shot it shot the rest of the caps off the nipple. Oh, you mean like chain fired? That's not fun when you have a chain fire. I've had one. Yeah, just one went off, but I've heard of guys having all 6 of them go off at once. Oh, crap. And chain fires can be front or back. If it's from the back, it's the nipples aren't fitting right. If it's from the front, you don't have a right size ball, or you've got a messed up chamber or something along those lines. But somewhere I seen where they had a slow motion. It was on YouTube, and I can't find it anymore. I ran a high-speed camera and tried to get these guns to chain fire, and they found that either way it'll happen from the front or from the back. It all depends on how you load it. Yeah, Colt did make a cartridge pocket model. Can't remember what they's called, but there were some 22 caliber ones. I mean, Colts went kind of wild. There's more Colts out there than what most people realize. But for size-wise, compared to the 1848, 49, I don't really remember ever seeing one that they made, other than they converted some of them to cartridge. But after 1873, you really see a drop-off on, the different styles of revolvers. Most of them are your 73 single-action Army, and then you have some of those little bitty 22 pocket guns, like I say. And let me grab the Bible here. This is where the information will be added. The Colt Bible. Let's see. I had that page marked for some reason. Okay. This is a chapter for collectors. Oh yeah, you had the Detective Special, which is kind of a pocket model. Okay, those are 1911s. Oh, there's the pocket model automatic 32, which there's a guy that makes copies of them, and they are spending like $1,500. Let's see, Pocket Model 32, Pocket Model 38 of 1903. There's a 38 of 1900. So that was automatics. Here's revolvers. So yeah, there's a detective. So that's kind of like a little pocket model. Not real small, but it's small. Pocket positive revolver. 32 police positive. So yeah, that's a double action. So that's circa 1905. Those are modern Colt revolvers. Marine Corps model, New Navy. There's the Burgess rifles, the Burden Russian, the shotguns. And then we're getting into the 77 models. And okay. The one over on the other page, so not the one with my hand, the one over that way. This one here. That's a pocket model. They call it a house pistol or police pistol. 38 center fire. Says that one's fairly rare. There's all the new line pocket guns. So they all got spur triggers. 41, 38, 32, 30, 30, 22, 22, 22, 22. And these are all made 73 to 1890. There's some more of them. Some more of these pockets. Yeah, he had a lot of pocket models. Oh, there's a clover leaf. So yeah, Colt had plenty of pocket pistols. Then he had Derringers, so there's a bunch of single shot Derringers. They're kind of ugly looking little turds. And keep in mind, this is the Colt company, not Samuel Colt himself. Samuel Colt died in 1962. And the 18 train is on time. Yeah, then you get into the single action armies. There's the conversions. A lot of, yeah, they converted a lot of the, there's a lot of pocket pistols that are converted. Some of the newer models, which didn't kick off all that well. And you got the rear loading ones, so. Oh, and these pants I'm wearing about shot. I blew the butt of them out this morning picking up decoys. All right, so I'm going to scroll back through here and see what comments I've missed. So, okay. Talking about some reloads. Kyle says my walker keeps having issues with the caps using CCIs. There's your problem. They usually take 2 hammer strikes to go off, thinking of getting slick shots. Get slick shots, Remington number 10s. I use Remington number 10s anyway. They fit a little bit loose, but you give them a little bit of a squeeze when you put them on, they'll stay put. Never had a chain fire with those. That's what I load my walkers all the time with, and they work just fine. Randy Wilson says Paul Harrell has a video on chain fire thing. Yeah, and he's one of the few that has chain fire from the front. He's one of the very big proponents of the wads. Julie Cowboy, all caps popped off 3 times in a row, but I'm assuming that just needs new nipples. I must have missed an earlier comment, Thule. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, yeah, that was okay. I see. Yeah, it was on the 58. Yeah, you always try new nipples. That's a cheap route to go. Okay, I don't know who Davros is. Or Doctor. You must be talking Doctor Who. I never watched that. Yeah, there's a lot of Colts made, Kyle. A lot of Colts. Yeah, Plowboy, I figured that's who it was. There's like comments like, I don't even know what the hell they're talking about anymore. Holy crap. I don't know what Doctor Who is. I never watched it, never really cared to. Kyle says, yeah, my local place only gets CCI. Unfortunately, mine go elsewhere and get Remingtons. Yeah, I use Remingtons. I prefer Remington. Or if you can find RWS, I've heard lots of good things about RWS caps. If I could get them, but I've only got 4,000 or 5,000 caps right now that I'm sitting on. So, not that many, 2,000. I'm sitting on 2,000 caps, so I really don't need to order more. But when I run out, I'm going to start trying the RWS and see how they run. Squib Blow must be talking about that Doctor Who crap again, because I don't know who the hell he's talking about. I mean, I've seen a few episodes of that, but I never could get into it. Thule Cowboy, how badly would black powder foul up a double action or a semi-automatic mechanism? Well, they had double action mechanisms back in the day. You had the Star, it was double action. Smith & Wesson had double actions. Colt got into double actions in 77, so that still would have been black powder era. But for a semi-auto, Hickok 45, he did a torture test on a Glock. You can look that up. 9mm with black powder, and that gun was barely kicking them shells out the side. But it worked. I don't think he gummed it up. I'm sure after that powder got cool and seized, it gummed it up. But I wouldn't trust it through a semi-auto. I'll put it that way. Just gotta remember, whatever the hell you shoot black powder through, you gotta clean the crap out of it. All right, let's see what the hell is going on here. Oh, hey. As mentioned earlier, I hadn't talked to Santee for a while. Santee just commented on the Facebook post. Oh, he's going to have to pass. So, yeah, I figured he might chime in. And Destin, I think Destin is teaching up in somewhere here in Colorado, last I heard from him. So I don't know what he's up to, but haven't chatted with him for a little while. I have to send him a text message. What about the post mod that gets put on top of the frame to keep the cap seated after fire? Is it worth it? If you're going to buy slick shots, you really don't need that. If you're not going to waste the money on the slicks, then yeah, you can do the post. But the thing about slick shots is that you don't really change the gun. You're not damaging the frame. You're not affecting the cost, the value of the gun. Once you put that pin in, you've drilled that, then the value of the gun starts to decrease. So something to keep in mind. But if it works, it works. Average Joe Hunter, another guy loaded 300 blackout with black powder and barely kicked the shells out. Can you imagine running black powder through a frickin' AR-15? Holy crap! That thing black powder would kill that gun in probably 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Not to mention you're shooting it out of a small bore, and you got that frickin' gas tube that comes back. He's going to be blowing all that fouling back into the action. Holy crap! Now, an AK could probably handle it because that's using an AR with a piston system could probably handle it. But that direct impingement, oh, God, you're just asking for trouble. I mean, my AR just shooting freaking cheap Wolf ammo gets as dirty in 100 rounds as my freaking black powders do. Speaking of which, that's another gun I got to go clean because it was throwing a fit the other day. Squib, Deucing Guns ran black powder through rounds through an AR-15. I knew somebody had done it on there. I couldn't remember who it was. I couldn't remember. I remember seeing the video a long time ago, but I couldn't remember much about it. Yeah. And as I recall, that gun didn't work all that well with the black powder. Because you'd have to use a bore that small. You'd have to use triple F. Really, if you're going to shoot a revolver with a bore that small, you'd want to use 4F. And I know people say 4F is for priming a flintlock only, but no, if you get like a small rifle or pistol, they made 28 caliber handguns back in the day. That 4F will work just fine with that tiny little ball. You ain't making all that much pressure. Now, don't go out and load a freaking 75 caliber Brown Bess with 120 grains of 4F powder. You're just asking for a butt whooping. But back in when you get them small calibers, you want the smaller 4F. That's because it's going to burn cleaner. Squib Blood, he turned the AR into, yeah, I'm going to say, because it'd foul that tube out so fast. Jesus. Especially if you're using that real coarse powder. And if he's using Pyrodex, oh God, he might as well just throw the gun away. Keep the lower, throw the top half away. It ain't going to be worth anything. Randy Wilson says, my son had a 51 Navy that used cap jam all the time. As soon as he put slick shot nipples on the, he hasn't had a cap jam, probably 500 rounds. Yep. And it can do it. Like I said, my Pieta 1860, after I put slick shots in there, never had a jam since. Now, I've had, on my U-Birdies, I have had some cap jams with slick shots, but then I polished the hammer faces on them, and we're back in business. The only gun that I've put slick shots on, and this was just a test. I took them off 51 Navy, but was that freaking little U-Birdie 1849 pocket. That son of a bitch won't. That little thing will not quit jamming to save its life. .357 Bullfrog. Hey, Bullfrog. How would 25 grains of 4F work in a rigger old Army? I don't know if I'm brave enough to try that out. That's a little bit big. But I know Mike Bellevue, like his pocket pistol, his 49 pocket pistol, he loaded 15 grains of 4F. My gun worked just fine. But I don't know if I'd want to work up that big of a... I don't know if I'd want to load a 44 with 4F. I might be brave enough to try a 36. I don't know if I'd try a 44. Plus, when you start getting that fine of powder, it starts packing so tight that the powder itself starts turning into a projectile. So instead of having a propellant, you got rocket fuel. Hey, I might make a bullet fly further too. You never know. Kyle a day, like, our reproduction Colts made by Colt Some are made off of parts made in Italy by Uberti. It all depends on who, what, and where. Second generation Colts are made by Colt, and I think Signature Series are made off of Uberti parts. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's how it works. And when you start buying the black powder guns with the Colt name, you're buying a collector's piece. You're not buying something you want to go out and shoot all the time. Though I do know of guys that do go out and shoot them. But that's more of a collector's piece. It's not really a usable. And I wish I'd have had freaking $15,000. There was a set that went on Gunbroker. Colt second generations. And they went from the Patterson all the way up to the 62 Pocket Police. All the cap and balls. Every one of them that the Colt had made second generation copies of. And I'm pretty sure the Patterson was made by Uberti. I don't think Colt made the Patterson one, but yeah, $15,000 for all those. Oh, if I'd had that money, I'd have bought them all. They were selling them as a set. Somebody was very happy. Oh. 357 Bullfrog. If you don't have a flintlock but have 4F laying around, was good use for it. 4th of July, LOL. Yeah, I got my 4F because I had a flintlock rifle. It was a Cabela's Blue Ridge, which I think is what Peter Sully sells as a Frontier. Anyway, I bought 4F for that. Worked pretty good. Then I got the Kentucky rifle. I had that for a very short period of time before I got rid of that. Then I bought my brown bass. And with my brown bass, that thing has such a wide frizzen and such a wide flint and throws so many sparks. I don't need 4F. I can load that sucker up. I can use F1/2 as a main charge and dump that F1/2 right in that same F1/2 right in the pan, and it'll go off about every time. The only thing with F1/2 is that it shoots or it ignites really, really slow. So instead of a shbang, it's a sh and then bang. But the smallest I prime with it is 3F. I use the same, use 3F out of my flask that I use to load my pistols with. I just use that to prime my best, and I mean, it's instantaneous. Yeah, Bullfrog. Yeah, the Signature Series are, I think, the parts are made by Uberti, but they're made or assembled at the Colt factory, is what I understood. Kyle, yeah. Most now when you buy a Colt, you're buying the name. Not buying the gun. You're buying the name. And if I had a choice between buying an actual Colt for $2,000, Colt 73 single action for $2,000, or buying the high standard Colt clone for $2,000, I'd buy the high standard because, oh my God, it looks, those are so, I'm going to start drooling here. Yeah, those high standard Colts are so nice. Spendy, but nice. But I'm not going to dump $2,000 on a handgun. That's where the little Uberti and Pieta clones come in. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it for the night. I'm going to still play around with doing some stuff on holsters here. So I'll let y'all go. Y'all take it easy. Have a wonderful night. I'll give you a couple minutes here if you got any last minute questions to throw in there. And then we're going to shut her down. Now you'll find the super glue. I screwed up today. I went to reach in my pocket to grab my keys. Caught my fingernail on my waders. And I ripped it way the hell back there. And I got super glued, but the last little corner down there had a lot of blood on it, so the super glue didn't take. Kyle, yeah, all the Colt single action armies now are made by Colt. Now, 10 years ago, it hasn't even been that long, 6-7 years ago, when I bought my single action, this 4440 here, they had a Colt on the counter. And I asked the guy, I said, so is the price difference really worth it? Is it worth paying for a Colt instead of Uberty? And he told me at the time that point in time, their Colt was assembling their signature or their guns from Uberti parts, because Colt was making guns for, the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. We were still in Iraq at the time. And so Colt couldn't keep up, so they was making them off of Uberti parts, which is why Uberti could get the license to make an almost identical Colt with patent dates and all that jazz on top of it. So that was the agreement. That was my understanding. That's what I was told. And now, as of now, Colt is actually making the single actions. So they're not being made off of Uberti parts anymore. That's why Uberti's had to change their design a little bit. Serpent, James, you're late. We're getting ready to sign off. So, yep. Good night, everybody. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you later on. I don't know. Don't know if I'm going to try to keep doing this regular or not, but we'll see here sometime in the future. But yeah, we'll do some chats here and there. So anyway, good night. Y'all stay safe. Catch you on the next one. Where'd my mouse go? All right. In broadcast.